What's up YouTube, and welcome to another video here in Forever Life and Fitness. Thanks for joining me once again. Obviously been a long time since I made a video, but this one's going to be slightly different. I want to talk about something that I think I have been experiencing lately. I'm finding that as I'm aging, I'm having to change the way I work out and the way I approach my physical training, and I thought I wanted to talk about it because truth be told, as we get older, our bodies do change. Now it's really easy to accept these changes as part and parcel of getting older. But truth be told, this is not always the case, especially when we're talking about your physical health. Unfortunately, one of those changes for men, and to a lesser extent women, is the loss of muscle as we age, known as sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is a natural part of aging and starts around the age of 30, and it can lead to about 30% of the loss of your muscle mass over your lifespan, which works out to about 3 to 5% of your muscle mass after the age of 30. So unfortunately, there's no specific test, there's no way of telling if you're suffering from sarcopenia, and it can lead to some functional issues, especially as you get older, not as strong, not as fast, and it's mostly seen in inactive people. However, it can be seen in people that are very active. Now this all sounds pretty negative, but there are a few things you can do to help slow down this process. Workout complete. Very happy with my session today. As you can see, nothing that you haven't seen me do on the channel before. Now I know for most people it's common sense. Now if you want to reduce the effects of age-related muscle loss, then you train, you lift weights, you do resistance training. That pretty much goes without saying, and I think for the majority of people quite understand that. However, it's always good to consider what type of training you do. So unfortunately, training like you're 21 when you're in your late 30s, 40s, 50s is probably not going to be the most effective way to deal with age-related muscle loss. The truth is you have to change the style of training. When you're younger, you can work to failure regularly because your recovery is a lot quicker. However, as you get older, recovery just slow down. But it doesn't mean that you can't do similar stuff that you're doing before. And what is backed by research is doing a lot of compound movement, things like squats, deadlifts, anything where you're using multiple muscle groups, especially if it's legs, because you want to increase the amount of growth hormone your body produces. And the best way to do that is to train legs. When I first started training, I never did squats, I never did deadlifts, I never really did any compound movements. I did very typical bodybuilding split. Now don't get me wrong, like I said, if you was to do that even into your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you're going to see results, but it's not the most optimal. You want to definitely include some compound movements as you get older. The other thing you got to really think about as you're getting older is your cardiovascular fitness. Now you can do things like run on the treadmill, use the bike, use a Stairmaster, but I would argue there's a more interesting way to get your cardio in. So that was an amazing session. I could not be happier. Managed to throw a double back, which, to be fair, I think I've thrown it before, but I don't know if it was that clean. And for those of you who don't know, what I'm talking about is the move where you do like a cartwheel. It's similar to a cartwheel, but it's called a round off into 2 somersaults afterwards into the pit. It's really scary. Probably looks a lot easier than it actually is, but managed to chuck a couple today actually. It just felt good, and considering my back has been giving me issues, I am so happy with that. But as you can see, as an adult, you can do so many different types of exercises. It's not just about going to the gym, lifting weights, or coming to gymnastics, throwing flips. It's good to vary the exercise you can do. Now, obviously, as you get older, you're gonna need more time to warm up. You're gonna take things a bit slower than you probably would if you were younger, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. Honestly speaking, I grew up being the most unathletic child. I did not do any sports whatsoever, and it was only as I became older and just participated in sports that were just new to me and fell in love with bodybuilding and gymnastics. And I will never ever be a world-class bodybuilder. Similarly, I will never be an Olympic gymnast. But the benefits you get from participating in an activity, it's invaluable. It will serve you for the rest of your life. But obviously, it's not just about the exercise. What's really important is also nutrition. So once again, I think it's common sense that obviously if you want to maintain a decent physique or you want to manage your weight, you have to monitor your diet. You have to be very considerate about what you eat, when you eat. But what is important is to also think about the type of food you eat. So you hear a lot of these fad diets where people avoid certain things, so carbs being an example. A lot of diets where people go a prolonged time between meals where they don't eat and then have a smaller window to eat. Personally, I don't think that's the way to move forwards. I found great results from regularly eating meals. I have roughly about 6 meals a day and they're relatively small. For example, this meal, which consists of eggs, broccoli, green beans, sweet potatoes, and then also fish oils. All really important stuff. Now, obviously, every single meal isn't this exact meal, but the point I'm trying to make is it's important to have balance. Now, you have to remember, unfortunately, the margin of error for the food you can eat reduces as you get older. When you're younger, you can probably get away with having a McDonald's meal every day if you want to. I know I did. But as you get older, you find that the effects of having that meal get worse and worse and worse, and it gets harder and harder and harder to maintain a decent physique. So you really need to think about the different foods you're eating. One thing that I don't think people realise is food is king and your training is queen, meaning that you need to put as much importance, if not more, in the foods that you eat over the training you do. There's absolutely no point of lifting heavy weight or going to the gym regularly if every single day you're going home and ordering a Chinese or going to McDonald's. Now, that's not to say you can't indulge every now and again. In fact, sometimes I find when I have a cheat meal, I actually look better the day after because my body has been able to absorb all those extra carbs and those sugars and increase my glycogen stores. So sometimes a cheat meal is really good, but if you have it regularly, if it's a staple of your diet, it can become detrimental to your overall gain. It's important to make sure that you get all your macronutrients, those are your carbs, your fats, your protein, to make sure not only that you facilitate the changes you want in your body, but also to facilitate your training. And one thing that people don't talk enough about, in my opinion, is also the importance of your macronutrients. Make sure you get enough fiber. You get that from your green leafy vegetables, spinach, green beans, broccoli, carrots, all that sort of thing. Really, really important. I'll put a link in the description into a full day of eating that I did a few years back. It's a really good video. Have a watch if you're really serious about making changes in your diet. Because bearing in mind, all of the stuff I'm eating, I paid a lot of money over the years to be told by a nutrition coach what would be good in terms of the quantities, when to eat and what to eat, and I've put it in a video for pretty much nothing. That is not me saying that it's not important to go and get yourself a nutrition coach if you can afford one, but I know that isn't something that is feasible for everyone, and not everyone wants to do that. So I'm giving you an insight to what I did, and I'm sure you'll see it in some of my previous videos and also on Instagram if you follow me there, if not Forever Life and Fitness. But yeah, you'll see that I made amazing gains in the past. I'm not naturally an athletic guy or a guy that maintains a good physique. I've been able to do this through diet and good exercise and being consistent. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please hit that like button, please subscribe, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so that you are notified every time I upload a video. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.